History of Russia in 100 Minutes by Smart Histories. The First Romanovs. Having survived the time of troubles, Russia faced the 17th century with the newly established Romanov dynasty. Nevertheless, Mikhail Romanov only began as a weak compromise candidate who was in favor of the boyars. Having eventually achieved 304 years in power, the Romanovs became one of the longest surviving European dynasties. Background: after the Poles were driven out of Moscow, the Russian nobility decided to peacefully settle the question of who was to be the next sovereign. In 1613, the parliament of boyars, merchants, warriors, and priests, Zemsky Sabor, came together. They looked for a compromise candidate who would be, at least distantly, related to Ivan the Terrible. A suitable young man was found, Patriarch Filaret's 16-year-old son, Mikhail Romanov. He was a distant relative of Ivan the Terrible's wife, Anastasia Romanova. The fact that he was a young, inexperienced person, therefore politically weak, and also not being in Moscow at that moment, made him a safe candidate to all the parties. Romanov dynasty. The boyars expected Mikhail I, Mikhail Romanov, to ensure peace and stability, and he did surprisingly well. In 1617, the Stalbov peace treaty with the Swedes was signed, and in 1618, the Dulino truce with the Poles was agreed. These two treaties definitively ended their intervention in Russian affairs. During the rule of Mikhail Romanov's successor, Tsar Alexei I, the church reform of Patriarch Nikon was enacted in 1653. That caused a schism, Raskov, between the official Reformed Church of Russia and the Old Believers who escaped to the peripheral areas of Russia or out of the country altogether. Alexei also conquered most of the Ukrainian territories held by Poland, including Kiev. The following rulers, Fyodor III and Regent Sofia Alexeyevna, were intellectuals who promoted Russian culture. Most of the 17th century was characterized by relative political and religious seclusion from the rest of the world, and especially from Europe, that helped form a specific Russian mentality. Thank you for watching. For thousands of helpful resources of Russian history, please visit our website at smarthistories.com.